Hello booktube, hello book friends. Welcome back to my channel and another reading week video that's coming to you a few days early, and I need to explain the reason that's happening. Normally I record these on a Friday or a Saturday and they go up on a Saturday. Today is Thursday, and I'm going to pretty much upload this straight away. The reason for that is we've had a family bereavement at the beginning of this week that has, as you would expect, thrown a whole lot of unexpected things my way, like organising funerals and solicitors and going to registry offices and things like that. The death itself wasn't entirely unexpected, but it's there are things that need to be done. As a result, it's kind of it's taking up time, and it means that my intention is still to record videos. They just won't perhaps be on the same schedule as I've been doing. So recording a weekly update for a Saturday and a Tag Tuesday and whatever else. So I think for the time being, I will try and record at least a weekly update, and then we'll see what other time I have. Hopefully by the end of the month, there'll still be things to do, but there's obviously there's some time pressure on some of those things in the immediate couple of weeks. So yeah, that's what that's what I've been up to this week, basically. But let me talk about the books that I've been or rather not talk about the books that I've been reading, because I was reading this Last Chance to See by Douglas Adams and Mark Carwardine, for Mark at Book Time with Elvis's book group. I have finished this, but we haven't talked about it within the group, so I'm not going to talk about it here. So other than to say I really enjoyed it. It was a reread for me, a reread of about 30 years since I probably read it last, or at least read the whole thing last. But really enjoyed it. Douglas Adams, of obviously Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, writes the bulk of the book, and it's written in a very humorous way, and it's just great. So I will perhaps come back and talk about that properly at a later date. I moved on from that to reading a P.D. James mystery. So this is Devices and Desires. This is an Adam Dalgliesh mystery, although he doesn't play a major role in the story. He appears, and he has a few things to do, but basically he has gone to stay at his aunt's Norfolk mill house because she has passed away. I'm not immune to the symbolism in some of this, and he's inherited that property and his aunt's estate, and he's trying to decide, should he keep the mill? Should he keep the mill? Should he move there? Should he have it as a holiday home? And basically there are some murders taking place in the local area, which are being carried out by somebody who has been called the Whistler. So I think there have been sort of 5 or 6 murders at that point. And then there is a murder that happens kind of in the very local areas, just down the road from where he is staying. He isn't really involved in the investigation, although he has his kind of opinions as to who did it. But it's a really well written mystery novel. There are a pool of kind of suspects, and it's just it's classic P.D. James. I think so far, I think this is the 8th book in the series, and it's one of my favourites so far. I've read some of them out of sequence, but I have read like the first 8 and then a couple of the later ones. So yeah, but this is one of the best that I've read, so I would recommend this. And my copy has really great, if I hold a bit closer, really great cover art by the British artist Angela Harding, so a wood engraving, I think. So yeah, really enjoyed that. That was and I only finished that yesterday, so I haven't really started anything new since, and that's one way of kind of thinking about coming and doing this. The other book I've been reading as a buddy read with Pat at Book Chat with Pat, and really enjoying this. Some of the I'm really enjoying the buddy read more than I'm enjoying the book. Pat and I had a chat. When did we have that? Was it last weekend or the end of last week? I can't remember exactly. But we've had a couple of conversations about the stories where. So we've now read. There's 12. We've read 10 of them, but we've only talked about the first 5. And I think we both felt that the first 5 were a bit of a mixed bag. There's one story there which is a novella, so it's, I don't know, whatever, nearly 150 pages long. And that's, of the 5, it's probably the best story. But it's not a short story. This is a short story collection. But with King, he very often inserts a novella or a longer short story, or more than one sometimes, in his collections. So, but yeah, I think so far, as I say, a mixed bag. We've read the next 5, which we're going to talk about on Saturday, and then we've got 2 to go. And then we'll talk about those, and then that will complete our buddy read of this. And I have to say, buddy reading with Pat is just such a joy. Obviously, I have kind of disrupted our. I mean, we were reading this thinking we were going to spread it out over the month initially, and we devised a schedule that we were reading, which stories we were reading in which week, and we were going to speak kind of after we'd read them, and then we'd realize we were getting through them much quicker. And I think on Monday, I think I finished the next 5 on Sunday, and then on Monday I had to send Pat a message to say I finished the next set of stories, but this has happened, and I'm going to muck up our timetable. So I think the way we're going, we might, I think we will still finish the book by the end of the month. I would, like to stick to that, because there's only the 2 stories to read, and at the moment I'm, relatively free of I haven't picked another book up since finishing the PD James, although I have got one in mind, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I still want, and I think can finish this before the end of the month, and then I think I'll perhaps come back and talk about it in more detail, rather than I'm conscious I might talk about something that I haven't spoken to Pat about yet. And yeah, it's a buddy read, so buddies come first. But yeah, as you can see, nearly finished. So yeah, this has been fun. I've enjoyed that. And then the book I'm thinking about reading, although haven't decided it is what I'm going to read yet, is a book by Nell Stevens, and it's got one of those plastic covers on. This is Briefly a Delicious Life. I'm not I know this was recommended by somebody on BookTube. I'm not sure who. It might have been Nick at Dr. Cranky Pants Reads, or it might have been somebody else. So apologies if I've got that wrong. But this, I got this out originally from the library because it was recommended, and I thought, and I could get a copy from the library. So I got a copy from the library. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to make much progress with it. And then somebody had reserved it, so I couldn't renew the loan and it had to go back. And I thought, well, I actually do want to read the book because it sounds quite interesting. So let me just read the back cover to you. Blanca has been dead for centuries when she falls in love with celebrated novelist George Sand. George is unlike anyone Blanca has encountered in hundreds of years of haunting. A woman dressed in men's clothes, a ferocious writer and passionate lover of men and women alike. It is 1838 and George has come to the island of Mallorca with her ailing lover, Frederick Chopin. As the weather and the locals turn against this strange couple, can the love of a teenage ghost keep them from disaster? So, as I say, I read the first few chapters and then had to give the book back. So I'm looking forward to reading it properly. I'm going to start from the beginning again because I can't quite remember where I got to. So possibly that's next, if not something else. So yeah, that's it for this part week. As I say, expect videos from me when I get opportunity rather than to any planned schedule. But I wanted to come on and just kind of let people know that, you know, there is a reason why there's been an interruption to normal service, if that makes sense. So if you have been, thank you for watching, and I will speak to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.